If only the narcissist had known. If only they'd seen the fire you were quietly tending in the dark. But they didn't. They thought you'd stay low, bruised, folded, silenced, clinging to scraps like a beggar hungry for praise. They never imagined you'd rise. Not like this. Not with that steady grace. Not with that unshakable light in your eyes. But here you are. Shoulders back. Voice steady. Breathing in the kind of peace they can't manufacture or destroy. You see, the narcissist's power was never in who they were. It was in who they convinced you weren't. As long as you believed you were small, they could pretend to be tall. As long as you dimmed your light, they could play the role of the sun. But now, you're lighting your own fire. You're not asking anymore. You're becoming. And let me tell you, that shakes them to their core. Because here's the thing they never wanted you to figure out. They needed you to doubt yourself. They needed your silence, your hesitation, your guilt. They feasted on it, built their fragile little kingdom on the back of your self-forgetfulness. But the moment you said, enough, it all started to crack. And when you took that first trembling step toward yourself again, oh, friend, that's when the empire started to fall. It was never love. Let's be real about that. It was performance. Costume. Sleight of hand. They didn't cherish your heart. They studied it. Found the soft spots, the unhealed wounds, the hopes you barely dared to whisper. And they used them. Bent them into shackles. But you caught on. You stepped out of a trance. And when you did, you realized that cage was made of paper. And now, now they're watching in slow horror as you reclaim every part of yourself they tried to erase. You're not crawling back. You're not shivering in the cold waiting for them to toss a bone. You're building a life with your own hands. You're choosing wholeness over habit. You're choosing truth over the pretty lie. And that scares them more than anything. Because people like the narcissist aren't afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being irrelevant. They're terrified of losing the one who used to orbit their ego like a moon around a dying star. You were their fuel, their mirror, their illusion of control. And now you're gone. Not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You've unplugged. You've cleared the fog. And what's left of them without you to reflect back their mask? Just shadows. Growth like this isn't soft. It's not lit by candles and wrapped in affirmation cards. No, this kind of growth, it comes through fire. It looks like silence in the face of provocation. Like not responding to the bait. Like walking away while they scream at the door you just closed. It's power, but not loud. It's strength, but not aggressive. It's holy, and it confuses them. Because they can't control what they can't provoke. They can't dominate what doesn't react. So they scramble. They spin new lies. Try new hooks. What happened to you? They ask, playing innocent, playing dumb. But you know better. You feel the shift. The clarity. You've tasted freedom, and it's too sweet to give up now. You're not just healing. You're transforming. You're writing a story that no longer stars the narcissist as the main character. And they feel it, the fade, the distance, the undeniable truth that their grip is gone. And guess what? You don't owe them a single explanation. Not a word, not a look back. Because you, dear soul, are rising. And they're just watching the ashes of a throne they built on your pain. Not everyone rejoices when you rise. Some folks, especially the ones who liked you best when you were crawling, don't know what to do with you now. Because back then, when you were bleeding, when you doubted yourself, when you bent just to keep the peace, you were easier to handle. You didn't challenge their ego. You gave and gave, even when it cost you. And oh, how the narcissist thrived in that silence, that uncertainty. They were never confused about your worth. They just hoped you would be. But everything changes the moment you begin to remember. The moment your light starts breaking through that fog, and you walk taller, not because someone gave you permission, but because you finally realized you don't need it. That's when the cracks begin to show. That's when their polished masks start slipping. Because nothing exposes a narcissist quite like watching the one they tried to destroy become someone they can't touch. So what do? They come back. Of course they do. But not out of love, oh no. Out of need. Out of fear. They throw out the same old tricks, love bombs, guilt traps, false apologies dipped in sugar, smoke and mirrors, an illusion meant to pull you back into orbit because your freedom feels like a slap to their illusion of power. They need your attention like lungs need air. But don't mistake it for love, it isn't. It never was. What they love is control. What they miss is the access. You were their energy source, the light they stood in and pretended to own. Now that you've unplugged, they're scrambling. Because narcissists don't function on their own. They leech. They attach. They feed off people with hearts too kind and souls too generous. And when those people, you wake up and walk out, that's when the panic hits. Don't let their sudden concern fool you. Don't mistake the I miss you texts or the nostalgic bait as a change of heart. That's just strategy. That's just survival. Because the truth is, they only celebrated you when it suited them. And when it didn't, they disappeared. That fake smile when you succeeded, that wasn't pride. That was envy dressed up in polite applause. You were never the problem. You just happened to love louder, dream bigger, care deeper than they could ever handle. And when your growth started shining a light on their stagnancy, it made their own wounds too loud to ignore. But instead of healing, they projected. Instead of rising, they tried to pull you back down. Let me tell you something that might sting a little but will free you even more. Stop expecting claps from the ones who were rooting for your downfall. Stop hoping they'll cheer for your comeback when they were the ones who buried the stage. Some victories are meant to be quiet. Some breakthroughs are sacred. You don't owe anyone an announcement. Sometimes your joy is meant for you and heaven alone. Now this is your line in the sand. This is where you stop explaining yourself to people who chose not to understand. You rise anyway. You keep walking, keep laughing, keep rebuilding. Not because you need to prove anything, but because peace is a better place to live than pain. Because healing isn't about making them see your worth. It's about you seeing it. And if they couldn't hold your heart when it was fragile, they don't deserve to hold your hand now that it's steady. Real love doesn't try to cage you. It doesn't call your strength too much or your dreams too big. Real love doesn't flinch when you grow. It claps. So move forward, not with bitterness, but with boldness. Not for revenge, but for freedom. Because you, friend, are not just healing, you're becoming. And when you live as your full self, when you stop shrinking just to fit into someone else's comfort zone, they can't handle it, because your presence reminds them of everything they ran from in themselves. You are light they can't dim. And no, you're not here to argue, explain, or beg to be seen. That season has passed. You're here to be, fully, unapologetically, beautifully you. If that stirred something in your gut, say something. Shout it. Whisper it. Write it down. Let it echo in your spirit. And if you're still in the thick of it, I've got you. You're not walking this alone. Hit that button. Join the next live. Pull up a seat. There's a whole room full of people who know what rising from the ashes feels like. Until next time, don't just heal. Reign. And let the narcissist watch what they tried to kill bloom into glory they never imagined.